You know those kids in gym class that just go, like, way too hard? Well, they grow up and they teach their 4-year-old kids how to play soccer. Alright guys, sorry for, like, the informal video, but, I didn't really feel like getting my camera out, and I just got off work, and I wanted to tell you a story about work and all that, because I actually just started a new job as a referee for 4-year-olds. Well, kinda. I didn't really apply for a job as a referee, but that's what ended up happening. And sorry if I end up looking at the viewfinder for all this, because it's an iPhone video, and I don't actually have a viewfinder on my other camera, so getting used to this. So today I got a call at like, I don't know, 2 o'clock. They were like, hey, we don't have any refs, so do you want to like ref a game? And I'm like, I've never refed a soccer game before in my life. So I just kind of winged it, but you know, it's 4-year-olds, it's not that big of a deal. And literally the like soccer like director, I guess you would call him, because they run the whole soccer program, he was like, oh, you're gonna do the 4-year-olds, like don't really worry about it, you just have to like call it when it's out, like blow your whistle when it's out, and like make them tap in the center. And usually they're not too physical. If they are, like just kind of get the parents involved. If they like end up like cutting each other or like pushing each other, and it's messy. And then he's like, oh, and there's no goalies in like the 4-year-old division, but sometimes there's just some like little kid that likes to stand in the goal, and if he doesn't really touch it, I usually don't call it, so you can judge that as you'd like. So I was like, okay. 2 games, and it was pretty easy. The first one, no one really did anything. Then during like the first one, this little girl, she had a headband and she kept on playing with it, and her dad's like, you need to play harder, quit playing with your headband. And I'm like, she's like, I didn't say this because I mean I don't really teach people how to like parent their kids. So he was like, you need to play harder, everyone else is playing harder, you're playing with your headband. And I was just like, this little girl, let's be real, none of these kids are bros. Like, she doesn't really need to be playing hard. He's like, go run, and I'm like, whatever. So that was like the most intensity of that game. Really, these kids are 4 years old, so I don't think you get it. Like, it's not that big of a deal, these games. Like, it doesn't count for anything. We don't even keep score. Like, the little kids sometimes are like, oh, we're up 5, and I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, we don't have to keep score of your game. So you don't have to keep score of this game. And this, okay, the kids were fine. The kids were not my problem. It's the parents. You know how like dance moms? Well, like soccer dads are worse than dance moms. Like, so the next game started, and it was fun. It was fine. Like, the one dad was like really like intense about the calling though. So like I would call it out, and like sometimes I didn't see the ball like clearly, so I was like, whatever, I got a 50-50 chance, I'll guess that it's Black's ball. And they were like, no, it's definitely not Black's, it's my team's ball. And I'm like, okay, you do you. I didn't actually see it that much, so I'm just gonna call it that it's that. I've learned this throughout the years. The ref is always right. Even when the ref is wrong, the ref is right. So don't question my methods. So then I like go through the game and everything, and there's this like one little boy that like literally just stood in like the goal area like the whole time, and I didn't call it at all because I'm like, oh, it's whatever, like he just wants to stand back there and like play defense, it's not that big of a deal. And he didn't pick it up with his hands or anything. Like if he touched it with his hand, I would have called it, because like you have to call, like literally there's 4 things you have to call in like the little kids one. It's when it goes out of bounds, it's when they score a goal, put it back in the middle, and when they hit a handball, like a really abrupt handball, not like if they accidentally hit it with their hand and they're like, just like all that. They're like learning how to play soccer. They're not really too intense about it. Both these dads were really competitive. So like they were like, get serious guys, and I'm like, first of all, they're 4. When I was 4, I'm pretty sure I just thought about like Barbies or soccer in general. Like, you don't really think to win or to score, like you're just like kicking the ball anywhere. So these little kids kept being like, I want to be goalie, I want to be goalie. And the one dad looks up at me and says, well, the other team's not supposed to have a goalie. And I just like didn't even like respond. Like I didn't really care. I'm just a 16-year-old kid trying to like make some money. Like, they don't even have a goalie. He didn't touch it with his hands. I'm pretty sure the definition of a goalie is like stands in the goal box and touches it with their hands, not someone that just stands there and kicks it. Because that's just what I've been told, you know, playing soccer for 12 years. So this dad, he was like, okay, so he did that. So I was like, maybe I should talk to the guy. But then I'm like, I don't really want to confront the other coach. So I was like, I'll just let it go for now. So then, like, the one kid gets, like, a breakaway and, like, almost gets it on goal. And then the one little boy, like, comes out of goal and, like, attacks him. And, like, prevents the goal and kicks it out or something. And then the dad comes up to me and he's like, can you just, like, talk to the coach and tell him that there's no, like, goalies allowed? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I give a shit. Like, first of all, your kids are 4. Why are you taking this so seriously? Like, you can put a goalie in the goal. A goalie in the goal, if that's what you consider a goalie. So I go up to the dad and he's like, oh, he's not really a goalie, he's just being a defender. And I'm like, I know, I don't really, just, if you could move out of the goal area a little bit more to satisfy the other parent, that would be much obliged. That's what happened for my night. Wasn't really that interesting now that I think about it, but it was kind of, like, it just, the moral of the story is, like, you know, dance moms? Well, soccer dads are just as bad, because soccer dads are competitive and, like, they're, like, mean to their kids sometimes, and I'm like, listen, you don't need to yell at your kid. They're literally 4 years old. 4! Because when I was 4, I'm pretty sure I was just like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Why do I gotta plan for the future? I ain't about to be a professional soccer goalie person. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. I know it's kind of, like, crappy, but if you like hearing my stories about work, make sure to give it, like, a thumbs up or, like, comment. And maybe I'll do more of these because I have a lot of stories from work. Because it's a pretty interesting workforce out there when you're working for minimum wage. Alright guys, see you later.